Yeah. Let's start the recording also.
Okay, you start. I'm just starting the YouTube. You can start, Jamila.
Okay. Welcome to all the members of AIWC, our well-wishers and friends who have joined us for this very interesting session on the Silent Valley, the birds in the Silent Valley. This is our 15th session in our series on literary and cultural forum, which we initiated a year back. And we have a very young speaker with us today who has done a lot of research on the Silent Valley, a zoologist who is immensely interested in the bird life in the Silent Valley. Before I introduce him, one of the things that I would like to share with you is my own reading of the Silent Valley. I have not been fortunate like him to visit the Silent Valley and live and talk with the birds there. But the little exposure that I had through my reading and the visuals that I saw really fascinated me. A valley that has a long history of 50 million years, I'm told. And it is longer than that of the humans here or anywhere in the world. So densely packed 85 or more acres of land, which has not been touched by the human hand. But it was a long fight to keep that like that. History tells us that British people, when they were here in the 1850s, wanted to make a coffee plantation there. And later, we find that in 1932 and history tells us again in 1973, there were attempts to build a hydroelectric project there. But anyone who has seen the pictures or the visuals of the Silent Valley would really be sad and would have lost much if the government of India and Indira Gandhi had given in to the intentions of the Kerala government. Now, this was a long fight by the environmentalists and the nature lovers of our state. And particularly, I remember Sugudha Umari and her famous poems, Kaadavade Makkale, and Dr. Ayyappa Panikar, who used to, it was a group of writers who used to sing so passionately about preserving the woodlands of Kerala. They said that it was not preserving just the woodlands or the forests of Kerala, but it was a song for the preservation of nature all over the world. Today, we know how important the environment is and how important it is to protect the natural resources that we have with us. The depletion of the natural resources has led to a lot of disastrous things. I particularly remember here a short extract from Toni Morrison in one of her novels where she says that the river Mississippi was made to deviate its course in order to make settlements along the banks. And what happened after some time was that the river flowed back into its course once again. And this we called flooding and floods. It was actually man-made. So things like that have happened to us because man has not been able to preserve the natural resources that we have on this earth. And I'm sure that nature lovers and passionate seekers like Divin, Murukesh, who has joined us today, will be in the forefront to protect the heritage of Kerala that lies in its natural resources. In this video that I watched, I was fascinated by the water that flowed from the Kundipura, fascinated by the land around it with so many beautiful flora, the flowers of different colors, heavily, thickly dense trees. And more than that, the birds, the animals, the reptiles, and I'm told that there is something like 2,000 and odd flora that has been listed in the Silent Valley. And also 211 species of birds, and Divin is going to tell us about that today. Butterflies, 164. And what fascinated me again is I did not know that there were, we all know that there are dragonflies, but very few of us know that there are damselflies. And I'm sure Divin is going to enlighten us on that, what these damselflies are. Now, with this little introduction to the Silent Valley and the fascinating flora and fauna that we are going to be exposed to in this talk that our young scholar here is going to make, I'm sure will be a great experience for all of us. To introduce Divin Murukesh, I met him as a consultant of CMAX. So we got to talk, and that is when he told me that he has just finished his PhD in the avian life history and breeding. That was his PhD topic. So it's all on birds. So naturally, I grabbed the opportunity to get him on this platform to talk to us about birds. Divin took his PhD in zoology from Calicut University and has been recognized as the best young researcher of the state during 2015 through Dr. C. Chandrasekharan Memorial Award. He has bagged the Keralium Media Fellowship for the study of zoonotic diseases during 2020, and he presented the bird research work at University of Cambridge, for which he was fully funded by the University of California. He is currently working for the state general education as a consultant, but his interest still lies in research and outreach projects within the state. One thing I like about this young man is that he is so passionate about the work that he has done, and it does not remain there. He wants to spread it to the younger population. And looking at his biodata, one of the things that again struck me was that here is a gentleman who is going to hold the hand of the younger generation into the wilderness of the Silent Valley and expose them to the natural resources and make them aware of the need to protect these resources. And if we lose them forever. So we need people like Divin at the forefront of this march towards preservation of our biodiversity. Now, another thing that fascinated me about the papers that he has published, and there are so many papers, I'm not going to list all of them, but some of them which really caught my attention, like the life history study of the 3 bulbuls. This fascinated me because I had a bulbul building its nest in my garden. And I also wrote a poem on the bulbuls. So this is something that sort of links all nature lovers in one way or another. He has also written a paper on butterfly migration, the Wayanad laughing thrush, the breeding of slaty-legged crate, an inventory of dragonflies and damselflies, as I said, in the Nilambur Valley, and the impact of roads on wildlife. So it's not just the forests, but it is also how human intervention destroys the flora and fauna that we really need to preserve. So with these words of introduction, and I am, like all of you, I'm sure, looking forward to a very interesting session where Divin is going to take us into the dark valley, the Silent Valley, which is not really silent. I think it hums with the music of the birds, the mammals, and the reptiles. And that is what we are going to see and hear in the next few minutes. So over to you, Divin, to make your presentation.
Thank you so much, Jamila ma'am, for the great introduction for me and to the Silent Valley National Park. Am I audible? Okay. Very good evening to all. And as I said, we are not going to limit our talk to birds actually, because ma'am already asked for me to explain about dragonflies, damselflies. Actually, I'm an entomologist during my PG post-graduation time. My specialization was in entomology, and later only I came to this ornithology field, especially for my PhD and all. So anyway, we have very limited time, and I have 250 more species to explain. But I limited all these to 55 slides in this PowerPoint presentation, and we will came across to almost 80 species of birds of Silent Valley National Park. And I hope I can move to the slides right now. Okay. Am I audible clearly, ma'am? Oh, okay, fine. So we can start with you have got a small history about Silent Valley National Park, which is lies in the state Kerala, and it's in Palakkad district and in Malappuram district. We can say that, which is a small portion is there in the Malappuram district, and major portion lies in Palakkad district of Kerala. And this picture in this first slide is the topmost place of Silent Valley National Park. It's almost 230 meters from the sea level. And you can see in the middle to the end, there is a town called Nilambur. That's my birthplace, and I'm very fascinated to reach to the top during my childhood days. And luckily, I'm very much fortunate to climb up to that top of this mountain. You can see that Shola forest and grasslands. I will talk very detail about this kind of a habitat and its peculiarities. And actually, we call this place as Nadu Kani. That means we can see the town, which is in a straight line. You can see because of some mist and all, you can't clearly see the city just the center of this picture. Anyway, this is Nadagani. This is the topmost place of Silent Valley National Park. And okay, actually 237.52 square kilometers is our tropical wet evergreen forest, Silent Valley. That's a virgin forest. As Jamila ma'am said, it's untouched by the human beings. Actually, it's not that much fascinated word to say that it's untouched, but somewhat limited interventions like research and all. There is no management there. Actually, the geographical region is managed by the nature itself. All natural calamities are happening there, floods are happening there, landslides are happening there. It's always keeping a dynamic structure by the nature itself. There is no management activities by the forest department or any other activities, like only some research programs are happening within the core region of the forest. It's actually 237.52 square kilometers, and the core zone, you heard about core, buffer, and tourist zone for a protected area or for a national park. And for Silent Valley National Park, it's 90 square kilometers is the core, and just periphery of that, it's buffer region, and included that we have 237.52 square kilometers in that geographical region, which is very different habitat structure. You can see from the lower elevation to the higher elevation, and you can see the from the picture. From 900 to 1,400 meters, we have West Coast Tropical Wet Evergreen Forest. That is the champion and safe classification for forest. Just a technical name, but you can see the difference from that picture itself. And from 1,500, you can see broad-leaved hill forest, and the leaves are very broad, and the height of the land is 1,500 from the sea level. And after that, it's montane wet temperate forest, that is 1,800 meters. You can see the the patch is entirely different from the 1500-meter elevation patch. That is very misty, and a kind of shola patches started from that 1800 meters onwards. And after that, it's montane wet temperate forest, that is shola. You heard that word in Malayalam, chola. That is, chola means for the brooks or river, small rivers, like that shola, like forests are in between big mass of grasslands. Actually, it's like a desert of grassland, and in between that you can see shola patches. That is actually 2200-meter elevation, and that's grasslands serves as a sponge for absorbing all the rainwater. It's a rainwater harvesting zone for the water to nourish the river like Kunti, Chaliyar, and many Bhavani, which is flowing towards the east side. All the rivers are originating from this sponge of grasslands and shola patches. This is the peculiar geography of Silent Valley National Park, which is very, very unique when compared with any other forest lands of India, especially India. And we have kind of forests there in Arunachal Pradesh and in African region and in some other tropical forest regions. And this is our field station. If I heard that Ranjini ma'am visited Silent Valley once, and she know about this place. Like, this is Sairantri. Sairantri lies within the core region, and we have some field stations out there already. They made that for actually for the dam purpose. The KCB made these construction for making a dam on the Kunti River that will eventually kills all the tropical forest region. But as we said, the historical fight against this massive destruction of this pristine forest, and we won that. And Indira Gandhi is very much aware of the biodiversity, the value of biodiversity, and the persons from Kerala, they are very much keen to convince the politicians that this is the rich thing that we need to preserve, not the quick cash from the KCB or the power from the KCB. That is not much comparable, the biodiversity and the energy. And this is the place where we stay for our research purpose, and also forest officials are there. There is the section forest office. So these are called as sections. For Siren 3 is there, Puchipara. After 7-kilometer trek, we have Puchipara, and then Nilikal region is there, and then Volakad, and the top Sispara that I showed that grasslands and all there in Sispara. And as we said that ma'am also searched for the floral things, no, the vegetation, which is very the lush green, not only the lush green, it's very the micro elements of that. Every portion of that Silent Valley is rich in biodiversity, especially in vegetation. The floral components is very need to study more and more. Only 10% is studied so far. We need to explore the next 90% of the wealth of that region. Actually, how it becomes the paradise for birds is, this is the answer. The micro to macro level climatic conditions and each and every locations of that park, that geographical zone is like a magical creation. Like it accommodates thousands of creatures. That not just, I'm not exaggerating the number, thousands of creatures within a centimeter of land. That is very interesting. The micro elements, we not yet know about the microflora and microfauna within the soil and all. This is the reason which is the land is like a very rich in biodiversity. And when we come to birds, I'm rushing to this slides because I'm also very much fascinated to talk to you about birds, because last few years I'm totally doing a different work. I'm trying to incorporate this kind of biodiversity things to our education field also. Anyway, I'm working with this education department, and this is my again a chance to explain and my interest to the fellow people. And I'm very much sure that you all are very much keen to know about the birds of Silent Valley. Along with birds, we will discuss about other associated creatures, flora, fauna, and all the climate and all biotic and abiotic factors. And we have 211 species so far recorded from Silent Valley National Park, which is migrant birds and also resident birds. Migrant birds, you all heard about migration, and like birds migrate for breeding, migrate for kind of just for avoiding the harsh weather in their geographical region, just for stopover sites on a long journey. These are all we can call as migration. So migratory birds are there during, especially from September to the peak monsoon. We can see some migratory birds over there. And I have a broad classification. We have owls there, raptors, birds of prey, we can call them raptors, and passerines or songbirds, fowls, woodpeckers, hornbills, water birds, all are there in Silent Valley National Park. We'll check one by one, and I tell you that I have 55 slides and very limited text on that. I'll explain with pictures. So, I'm sorry. First, I start with the silent wings of Silent Valley. You heard about owls, their peculiar hunting pattern and all. They are very silent creatures while moving in the dusk time and especially in the night time. Nobody will hear their flight pattern because their feathers and their flight patterns are very much adapted to avoid the sound while flying. So their wings are very silent and they can easily pick up the prey once they notice the prey, and they will simply hawk them and go. Why I'm putting this first photo is this is my favorite photo. This is my first bird photo from during my career, because at that time 2000, this is I think this is during 2009. I have a small camera with very less zoom in that, and I'm very fortunate to visit Silent Valley for the first time with my teacher, and he had a research program over there about tree holes, insects. You heard about tree holes. That tree holes filled with water during the monsoon season and for the next 2 months of monsoon. And that time, some peculiar insects, especially odonates, the dragonflies and damselflies and other flies, are dropping their eggs in that tree hole, and they will emerge from that tree holes within a limited period. They know the time of that water holding capacity of that tree trunk, and they will develop within that time. So at that time, we are searching for the insect and we are scooping out the insects from a tree hole. I got a kind of connection from the top. I don't know how to say that. And just looking to the top, there is a owl sitting. And I just managed to get a picture. And after our disturbance, that flew away. Anyway, I got the picture. And after I joined A3 Bangalore in a research institute, I showed this picture to the bird experts over there. And they say that this is Sri Lanka bay owl, which is very rare and which is very rare to find. How could you, Divin, you manage to get this? And I explained the story to them. And so this is my very, I'm very happy to share this bird picture as my first slide in this presentation. And this is Sri Lankan bay owl, and very elusive species and very difficult to find them, especially in the morning time. So the next one, the silent flyers, are brown fish owl. This is also a very camouflaged bird, and we can't find them very easily, especially sitting like a wood piece. You can see that I got this picture from very distance. That time I have a very zoom lens camera, and from that camera only I managed to get this picture. And this is from the name itself, you can see that this is a fish owl. They are very much good in fishing, and this is a very big bird, like almost 30 to 35 centimeter size. and a very big bird and very silent predator. And the other one is spot-bellied eagle owl. You can see that the name spot-bellied, on the belly, you can see some spots over there. These are all the silent creatures from our Silent Valley National Park. You can hear the call only. You can't find them during the night. Only you can say that spot-bellied eagle owl is there only from the call. So I want to tell you that bird watching is not only the visual identification of birds. It's all about the identification of birds through their calls. So the next one is jungle owlet. This is much common in our woodlands, countryside, village side, especially in Trivandrum town also, Valdakad and some area, some vegetations are, especially I love Trivandrum because we have much vegetation in this city. And here also we have this jungle owlet. Somebody noticed they are crepuscular. They start active during the dusk time actually. So you can see that kind of voice during the crepuscular in the evening time, and that is jungle owlet. And the other one is Oriental Scops owl. Its name is Malayalam name is Sairandri Nath. So the owl, the small ones, owlets are called Nath in Malayalam. So this is Sairandri Nath. Sairandri, the place in Silent Valley. So its name is Sairandri. They are not confined to this Silent Valley. They are very common in the wooded countries like well-wooded areas of Kerala. So these are all the other owl species we encountered within the national park. And the next we move to the whistling schoolboy. Somebody heard about this whistling schoolboy. Actually, in our area, our countryside, our village, our morning alarm is the cock. We used to hear the voice from the 4 o'clock, but not nowadays. Our city, we don't have chicken or cock here, like domesticated one. So in forest, this is the morning alarm for us. This person starts singing from 4:30 onwards. And their song is exactly like human whistling. So they called us whistling schoolboy. This is Malabar whistling thrush, and its Malayalam name is Chulakaka. Chulam means whistling. So I'll pretend this call, and it's exactly like. This is like that valley will echoing this beautiful whistling. It's actually like exact human whistle. So this is the morning alarm for us, and mainly this species is fun of eating chilies and all. So in the field station, we keep chilies for our cooking purpose. This guy will come through the window and he will eat some chilies during our field work. So they are kind of not very close to the human settlements, but they are very not that much shy when compared to other birds of Silent Valley. And the other one, the first I talked about silent wings, and this one is a violent wing pattern, wing sound bird. You all know this bird, Great Indian Hornbill. And I put 3 photographs of this hornbill. Hope you will identify the difference. And please take a close look to this picture. And you can see that here, this bird with the casque ending with black is the male Great Indian Hornbill, and you can see that the eyeball is black, the eyelids are black, and on the right side, the other bird is the entire casque is yellow. Casque means the that top portion of that horn. That entire casque is yellow, and the eyelids are yellowish brown or yellowish red, and the other one is immature one. And all this I got from a ficus tree. They are fond of ficus fruits, and they used to eat small ficus berries. So if we need to find a bird like Great Indian Hornbill, you need to watch this ficus plant also. They are very kind of plant animal interaction. You can see that. And ficus, there are 700 plus ficus species in Kerala itself, and they used to feed some specialized ficus trees from the land, and they are very loud wing beat sound. That's why their name is Malamuraki Vedambal. So they, while they are flight, it's boom, 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 boom sound. You can hear that Malamurangana sound. That's very kind of scary noise, especially in a very silent locations of Silent Valley. If we hear that boom, boom, boom voice of that wing sound, it's kind of scary. And their vocal is also very scary, like dog is fighting, no? That kind of fight sound you can hear from a long distance. So they are very noisy, but not always. Especially the flight is very charismatic flight, and the sound is very obvious. And next is my topic of interest, like bulbuls. I worked on this 3 bulbuls. I actually came to Silent Valley to search for this 3 bulbuls, but I can't limit my search to these 3 bulbuls or to the birds. I searched for odoneids, dragonflies, damselflies, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and everything, each and everything. I used to take photograph or just write some life history notes on every creatures, because I'm that much fascinated to that piece of land actually. So this is my research topic, like the life history trait variation among the 3 species, especially during the breeding time. I searched for their nests, especially during their breeding period, and without disturbing the nest, I observed their breeding pattern using the camera, and also using binoculars. I'm searching for their activities during their breeding period. Is there any variation between these 3 species? All these are sympatric species. Sympatric species means they are confined to a single geographical zone. They are not, they are sexually they are separated, but geographically they are within the region. That's why they are called as sympatric species. Or these are they are very noisy, and these are all the very noisy species within that Silent Valley National Park. You can always hear any of one of the species sound from the park. And I'll tell the names. This one is square-tailed bulbul. You can see the end of the tail. Earlier its name was black bulbul. Now it's split to black bulbul to the northern side of India, and for South India we have square-tailed bulbuls. And the right one, the yellow one, is yellow-browed bulbul. You can see the yellow eyebrow for this species, that is yellow-browed bulbul, and the lower side lower one is red whiskered bulbul. It's very common, and you can see it from the 0 meter elevation to the 2,300 meter elevation, and very plasticity, showing they are very much adapted to any kind of geographical region. And I think Jamila ma'am sent me the breeding photographs of this red whiskered bulbul. So we are also eager to hear that poem by Jamila ma'am at the end of this program. Anyway, the other one, this is gray-headed bulbul, and why I put this bird's picture is this much because this is a very tricky and very ecologically important bird, because it's categorized as vulnerable and in the IUCN categorization, and they are very kind of magical bird to me, because I tried to include this bird also to my PhD work, but finally I decided to remove this species because they are very elusive in the sense you can't find this bird. If you get a picture of this bird, it's a very lucky thing. You can hear the bird's call, like tring tring, like a cycle bell call, and you can hear the bird somewhere. And if you go to that tring tring sound, you will lose your path. Like you can't find that bird, even that bird or their nest. So this is a very peculiar bird to me, and I'm very eager to get a picture of this bird, and tried for 1.5 years to get a picture and get a breeding brood of this bird. So this is a very interesting bird to me, and this is confined to the Western Ghat region, and this is gray-headed bulbul. You can see the gray head. And another very spectacular bird of Silent Valley is Malabar Trogan. You heard about this bird. This is actually peacock. You can see the brick red fire color of this bird, and mostly the birds named after the color or the complexion of this male bird. Actually, you can see the brick red that fire color on this male bird, this orange bird, and this is the left one is the female bird. You can see it's dull colored, and they are called as tea kaka in Malayalam because of this fire color on the belly. And this is a very interesting bird. And in the early stages of my field, I wish to see the bird for the first time. Very much enthusiastic to find this bird, and I pretended that I easily catch their call pattern and pretended to mimic that bird, and that bird started responded during my field work, and that's a very interesting thing for me regarding this bird. I know how to call their exact vocal, and they will respond to me for that call. And these are all the interesting things regarding this Malabar Trogan, and which is this bird is actually you can find from the lower elevations also. If we have a carve, you heard about my sacred groves. If we have a sacred grove, if it's there in a city or semi-urban region, you will find this bird, especially in Calicut, Kannur and all. You can see the bird within the sacred groves and all, but they are very territorial, and you can find a pair within a territory. They are very territorial. And the next, I move to the flycatchers category. They're very interesting, very small but very beautiful bird. You just imagine that black and orange flycatcher is there. For the first time, I seen this bird from Ooty, from the higher elevations of Nilgiri, and I thought that this is a new bird, and I'm not even seen such a bird during my field work and all. As I think it's 10 to 12 years back. So black and orange is a kind of magical bird to me. Like it's only 8 to 10 centimeter, very small bird, and from the beak to the tip of the tail, and very small bird and very active bird. Why they are called as flycatchers are there very frequent catching, very aggressive to catch. You can see the beaks that is modified for catching the flies very easily. They will sit on some perches, and they will go and catch the fly and come back to the same perch and they will eat. That is the peculiar mode of their predation. And you can see that black and orange flycatcher over there, and brown-breasted flycatcher, and bird-eater flycatcher. Their blue is very beautiful, that bird-eater flycatcher, and the other one is gray-headed canary flycatchers. All these are some flycatchers very peculiar to this landscape. And the other one is beautiful Nilgiri flycatcher. This also vulnerable category in the IUCN categorization. And also we have Asian paradise flycatcher. This Asian brown flycatcher. This is a winter visitor to our place. And from the Himalayan foothills, they will migrate to our region during September to March, the peak summer. They will remain in our location. And the others are resident birds. Asian brown flycatcher is a kind of migratory bird during the winter season. And the other one is white-bellied blue flycatcher. You can see that the male is having a white belly and blue color, and the female is entirely different. They are like a slaty color belly and orange patch on the neck. So I want to tell a story regarding this bird species. The first week of my field in Silent Valley during 2011, I came across with a nest within a crevice of a tree trunk, an active tree trunk. A bird nest is there, and 3 eggs are there. And I sat over there for 7 hours continuously to find that bird, but no way, no birds are coming to that nest. So I'm simply searching for that bird again and again every day without disturbing that nest. I keep a distance from that nest, and some bird are moving. I can see some bird is moving in between that, but I can't go approach to near to that nest. It will flew away, and I can't figure out. It's a very damp and very dense canopy, so there is no light. So I need to find that which species is this bird, because it's in a peculiar habitat, like within the tree trunk. That bird managed to made their nest. So finally, I decided to go in the night. So I'm sure that the bird will sit in the night or incubate the eggs during the night. So I decided to go there in the night with my tracker. So we managed to get a picture from a long distance, and later I identified that that is a white-bellied blue flycatcher, and they have a very peculiar nature of building their nests in some crevices of wood, tree trunk, or on the roots of big trees and all. I'll show you the pictures of that nest. And the other interesting one is you can see that a big woodpecker. This is white-bellied woodpecker. You can see the white belly, and its Malayalam name is Kaka Maranguti. You can see the size of it's like a big woodpecker and size of a crow, and its call is like "Ka, ka, ka." That call is exactly like Kaka. So it's called Kaka Maranguti in Malayalam. It's their pecking sound also very high sound because they are very huge bird. And you can see the difference between the male and female. For the male, it's having a mustachial red patch. For female, the crown is very limited. And another one is lesser flameback and common flameback. You can see that difference. For a common man, it's very difficult to find the difference, because you can see almost they both of them are looking same, and the lesser flameback is very common and the common flameback is very rare, but the name is somewhat different. No, common flameback is not that much common, because they are very elusive and very limited distribution within the dense forest, and lesser flameback is the common one, especially in our household countryside and our garden. You can see that lesser flameback everywhere, and the identification point is their neck is black, and for common flameback the neck is white. So this is a very tricky bird to differentiate these two. It's very difficult. And the other woodpeckers are brown-capped Pikmi woodpecker. This one is very small, like we can say that this one is one of the smallest woodpecker in our South India. And this is, sorry, brown-capped Pikmi woodpecker. And the other one is greater flameback. That is very big flameback. And that was also common in our countryside. And the other one is lesser yellow nape. You can see that yellow color in the nape. And they are also, we can see them in the well-wooded countries of our village side and all. And the other interesting two woodpeckers are, these are all very small, hard-spotted woodpecker. You can see the hard spot over their wing. I think you can see the hard spot in this woodpecker. And its Malayalam name is Chitrangadan Maranguti. Chitrangadan. You can see that love heart shape on their wings, and very beautiful one. And the other one is another smallest woodpecker, speckled picolet. It's very small, like within your palm. That will lie like almost 7 to 8 centimeter long, very small. But their pecking sound is very high. If you hear that pecking sound, you will confuse that it's a big woodpecker and all. But finally, you can see that small sparrow-like bird is pecking on a branch, or like a rotting branch or something like that, to find some caterpillars and all. They're very interesting species. And we will move to another group like pigeons and doves. You can see that gray-fronted green pigeon is very beautiful pigeon. And this is, I can see that this is a male bird carrying a nesting material for making the nest. And the other one is mountain imperial pigeon, this big one, a big imperial pigeon. And the other one is Nilgiri wood pigeon. That is very endemic bird and very rare to found. this Nilgiri wood pigeon, I only came across with 5 or 10 times with this bird. The other birds are very common in that locality, but Nilgiri wood pigeon is very elusive bird, and you can see that check box like structure on the back of this bird. So while flight or perching towards you, you can't differentiate this Nilgiri wood pigeon and mountain imperial pigeon easily. You need to see the backside of this neck with this check kind of pattern on the back, and from the sound you can differentiate it like it's starting the Maruti 800 car, not the starting sound of that is my way to identify this Nilgiri wood pigeon. Okay, the other one is emerald dove. You heard about this bird, that is Omana Prava or Potti Prava. It's very unique creature, like very fast flyers, and they will usually they will hit to some glass boxes or some buildings and die eventually. So they are called as Potti Prava. They are like they are blind, like while flight they will hit onto many branches or trees, and in that way, and they are very beautiful emerald color on their feathers. The other one is blue capped rock thrush. These are, you can see the difference of male and female bird, and this male bird is like a blue cap on the head and orange belly, and the female is entirely different. They're scaly breasted one, and this bird also a winter visitor to our locality. And other winter visitors are like Eurasian hoopoe. You heard about this bird. It's like in some Egyptian literature, and also you can see this bird like hudhud, a bird which is related to their myths and all. This Eurasian hoopoe is a visitor to our Silent Valley National Park. They are not resident. And Indian paradise flycatcher, you heard about this bird, paradise flycatcher with long white tail. This is a female bird, and the male bird is full white kite-like tail, and very beautiful bird, Indian paradise flycatcher. They are also winter visitor to our location. And other species winter visitors are warbler species. Very difficult to identify this warbler species, especially we are not minding that bird, because it's very difficult to differentiate the species from the field, because they are winter visitors and they are not resident birds, so almost all looks same. And the other interesting one is Oriental dwarf kingfisher. They are very small, and they are like a jewel like color. If you found that bird within the wood within that dense wood, you can see that it's a kind of jewel. They are also visited to our location. And the other birds are like crimson-backed sunbird, Indian white-eye. All these are small birds you can see, and very cute. And you just see the bird, Indian white-eye. The beautiful illuminating eyes are very conspicuous for this bird, and they are very beautiful, and especially for they are very photogenic too. If you take a photograph of this bird looks like awesome. And the other small birds are Nilgiri flower pecker and pale-billed flower pecker. As the name flower pecker, they used to peck the flowers for nectaring, and also to find some small insects from the nest and all. They are kind of pollinators in that way. They are very small birds. You can see you can see so especially in the edges of the forest, not within the dense forest. You can see them in the edges of this forest. And other group is parrots and parakeets. We have rose-ringed parakeet, Malabar parakeet. This is Malabar parakeet. They are endemic to the Western Ghats. This Malabar parakeet also called as blue-winged parakeet. And the other one is we have only one parrot. All others are parakeets. This parrot is like a small one, hanging parrot. They usually hang on the branches or on the vines while feeding. You can see them, and their call is tring calls, and they move very fast, and very beautiful small birds. Their name in Malayalam is Tattachinnan. Very small birds. That's why it's called Tattachinnan. And other interesting one is plum-headed parakeet. You can see that plum-colored head. And in Malayalam, we call them as Panchavarnakili. You can see that 5 different colors on the feathers. And this is a pair of plum-headed parakeet. You can see that the male having a gray head, not having that plum color. The male having that beautiful plum head and a small patch of red on the feather, blue tail, and all you can see some different tinges of color on the body. And another, we are moving to the fowl species. You can see that Greyjungle fowl. You heard about this Kattukoli. This is the male and female of Greyjungle fowl, and they are also good flyers, not like our domesticated chicken. They are having a stout body and very light bird, so they can fly up to a distance like other birds. Not a long distance flyer, but they can manage to fly almost half kilometer or in that way. And the other one is red spar fowl, and it's very difficult to found them because they're very elusive and very camouflaged bird. And they are called Chemban Mullan Kori in Malayalam because their feathers like mull, like thorns, no? So it's like Chemban Mullan Kori. The color is almost rusty red color. And another uncommon visitors to our region is like this yellow-legged button quail. But yellow-legged button quail is a kind of quail species. You heard about quail eggs and all. This is a very elusive, very rare bird. I say that it's impossible to find this bird from a forest patch. So how we got this bird is like this will attract to light and this will come to our room. The interesting thing is 2 years, like 2015 and 16, the same month, March, on the same week, the bird came to our building. It's a very interesting thing, and I'm writing a note about this peculiar nature of this yellow-legged button quail. The same day, the same week of the year, they came to our cottage, inside the cottage, and we managed to grab the bird. And I don't know whether the same bird came on the next year also, but the same species came to our cottage, and very interesting. We found that and we released that bird on the next morning. And the other one is a wetland bird, striped heron, and that is not common bird in Silent Valley. It's very uncommon visitor, and I found during my field work. And the other one is house sparrow. You heard about house sparrow as very common in our city, town, grocery shop region. And one day I found a bird on our thatched our room, and I confused with this bird. So I know this bird, but it's very unlikely to be there in that region. So I checked why this bird came. So I presume that this bird followed that path of human beings from the downside to the top. So she that this is a female bird. She knows that something is there on the top of that hill. So she followed the trail and she came to our room, and I fed that bird with some rice and all. And 2 days it vanished. After 2 days, it vanished from our side. And some other birds also. I'm rushing to. I think I'm taking much more time. It's 5:22. So I'm rushing to the slides. Like we have some dollar birds. You heard about this drongos. Drongos, we have racket-tailed drongo. It's very common in our region, and with long tails and all. And this is bee-eater. Bee-eater category, we have 4 to 5 species of bee-eaters there in Silent Valley. This is a blackbird, Eurasian blackbird. That's very beautiful bird, and it's very having a very good distribution in the Eurasian side itself. And the other one is hornbill. That's very common in our countryside, village side also. That is Malabar hornbill, and Koli Vedambal in Malayalam. And the other species are like orange-headed ground thrush, Jerdon's chloropsis. This is a Indian tit, this bird. And this is another ashy wood swallow. And this is a kingfisher. And all these are other birds we can see in common manner in our Silent Valley National Park. And some other interesting species also there. You can see that black and blue bird, that is Lalita in Malayalam. And that bird is very beautiful, and the female is like dull colored and blackish, and the male is a very beautiful bird. And that is also a very interesting bird from our side. And the other one is Indian pitta. You heard about that bird, Kottulla in Malayalam and all. It's also a winter visitor to our region, and it's very elusive bird and very difficult to find. And you can find them with their call, and it's very peculiar call. And the other one is barbet. You heard about barbets, white-cheeked barbet, Kutruvan. Their call is that call. And this is a wild counterpart. This is Malabar barbet, and their call is very different, like tuk, 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 call for this Malabar barbet. It's very small barbet, and they also used to make their nest on the tree holes. And we are moving to raptors. Raptors, you heard about raptors, like birds of prey, big birds, like all the birds, you know that the best birding time is like early morning. And for raptors, it's after 10 o'clock. Only in the sunny time, they will come to the light and hunt. You can see them after 10 o'clock. So for raptor survey, you need not to go early in the morning. So this is a very interesting bird, black eagle. You can see that flight mode, and you can see the fingers on the feathers. This is a very identification mark for the black eagle. And I never found a bird perching on a tree or ground, and very rarely you will find that bird. And this is a very fortunate image that I got from the Silent Valley National Park. You can see that it's holding a flying squirrel. It's predated on a flying squirrel, and it's holding that flying squirrel. You can closely look on that. And I got a good footage of video of this bird and carrying that giant squirrel. And another interesting birds of prey is crested hawk eagle and Leggese hawk eagle. They're very close relative species, and you can see the difference. You can see the breast pattern, and you can see the here for the crested hawk eagle, like raindrops like pattern, and for this Leggese hawk eagle, it's horizontal pattern. So this is the only method to distinguish these two species. While flight or while perching, it's very difficult to differentiate these two eagles from the field. So another interesting birds of prey are like black-shouldered kite. You can see the black shoulder, so that's why it's black-shouldered kite. And the other one, crested serpent eagle, that is chutti parandu. You can see some small spots over the belly. That is why it's crested serpent eagle. Why it's a serpent eagle? They used to mainly used to catch serpents, reptiles for the diet. And another species is Oriental honey buzzard. You can see that it's kind of pigeon head, not like for a furious eagle head. You can see the kind of pigeon head for this bird. And very interesting thing is their nostrils are like a ventilation, a straight line. So this is, as the name honey buzzard, they used to drink honey from the honeycomb. So that nostrils are peculiar for them to protect them from the honey, that honeybee attack and all. So this Oriental honey buzzard is another interesting big birds of prey from the park. And another interesting bird is Rufus bellied eagle. They're a beautiful one. I love them because of their charismatic look. While perching and all, they look very beautiful. They're Rufus belly and black head and a small white patch on the neck is very conspicuous. A very interesting eagle from our region. And another small raptors like crested goshawk, common kestrel, shikra. Shikra, you heard about shikra, that is Parapidian, and they used to hunt our small chicken from our domesticated area. This Parapidian, shikra also is a common bird, or birds of prey in our Silent Valley National Park. And we'll move to another group like brood parasites. Somewhat this two are these two are like almost similar to our shikra and all. While flight and all birds will confuse with this bird as a birds of prey or a brood parasite. They used to lay their eggs in other birds' nests. So that's why they are called brood parasites. And these three are, this one is greater hawk cuckoo, this is common hawk cuckoo, and this one is pied cuckoo. These all cuckoos are brood parasites found in Silent Valley National Park. And all these are in between 900 to 1500. And from that broad-leaved hill forest, you can see the pattern of this canopy. And you can see the color pattern. Like this is only for 10 to 15 days of a month, you can see the color pattern. And after that, all the leaves turns to green. And you can see the seasonal changes. This is a picture from 2 different seasons, the same patch. And on the lower picture, it's colorful canopy you can see. And on the top, it's full turned to green. And after that season, we move to the top elevations. As I said in the first few slides, this is the heaven in Silent Valley, like the shola patches and vast desert-like grasslands. These are actually the rain harvesting zones and very rich in biodiversity, very rich in prey predation association. All these are big things, big ecological things are happening on this geographical region. And this is a heaven. I used to visit after long trek to this region. It's like a tedious trek of 3 to 4 continuous trek. You will reach this top, and it's an amazing land. And you can see some amazing kind of different floral and faunal elements on this higher elevations. You can see a peculiar floral things over there in this region, and very peculiar species of birds like Nilgiri, pipit, pied, bush chats. All these are high elevation birds in Silent Valley National Park. And you can see Nilgiri laughing thrush. And why this laughing thrush? They're called like laughing, kind of laughing kind of calls you can hear from Nilgiri laughing thrush. And Wayanad laughing thrush, I wrote a publication on this Wayanad laughing thrush, their breeding, and it's very rare to find their breeding. So fortunate, I got a futile nesting attempt. Anyway, I got a breeding pair from Silent Valley National Park, and I published that paper in a international journal. And it's just a task. Anybody can say, is there anything you can notice in this picture? Take a close look. Anything on this picture? Anyone?
Is it a nest?
Yeah, exactly. You can see that on that trunk, it's covered with moss. You heard about moss. It's a kind of thick flora over the tree trunk, especially on the higher elevations. And within that, I found a different thing. And you can see that a bird which is feeding on the chicks, and that nest is made out of that moss itself. So that's a very interesting thing, and I'm seeing the first time the nest of this bird. This is that bird, gray-headed canary flycatcher, very beautiful bird, and they used to make their nest over the trunks like this, and it's very camouflaged. No one can notice their activity. If the bird is not there in that nest, nobody can differentiate their nest. And some other broods, I'll quick into that slides because we need to finish that on time now. So this is yellow-browed bulbul nest. You can see that their nests are very peculiar. This is one of my study species. And the right one, big chicken-like egg is, yes, it's Greyjungle Fowl eggs. They lay their eggs on the ground. Actually, this nest photography is prohibited, and they are not, this is not advisable. But for my study purpose only, I taken this, and this is not good for showing in the public. This is actually this is banned to show the nest of a bird, because that will disturb the birds, and eventually that will leads to predation and all. You can see that very interesting nest of Malabar whistling thrush. I told you that whistling schoolboy, that chulakaka, their nests are very interesting. They used to make their nest on the side of rocks near the brooks or streams, so nobody can reach to that nest. It's very interesting to keep away from predators and all. You can see that their nests are very interesting. And these are all other nesting birds. Like this is Rufus Babbler nest, and I took almost 1 week to found this bird, which is this bird in this nest. And this is actually one of the rare photograph of this bird nest. There is no other, even in the literature or in the internet, you can't find a nest of this Rufus Babbler. It's very blue eggs. And the other one is that white-bellied blue flycatcher nest. I told you they used to make their nest within the tree trunk crevices and all. These are all the nests of white-bellied blue flycatcher. And the other one, you can see that a side mirror of a bike. I used to found the nesting material by keeping a pole, and at the end of this pole you can see a mirror, and in that mirror you can see the nest content without disturbing the nest. So I used to check whether the nest is active or not. This is a field methodology for me to find to study the birds. And these are all some other related bird nests, like crimson-backed sunbird that I told you, the small sunbird, and the other one is Indian white-eye. You can see the white-eye here, and brown-cheeked fulvetta, another bird, mountain imperial pigeon. All pigeons they make their nest with 2-3 sticks, simply placing over a branch without a care. They made their nest. You can see the Asian emerald nest also. They simply placed on a hanging branch, and that is white-bellied blue flycatcher nest. And these are all some potential predators observed during my study. Lion-tailed macaque, you heard about the key species of Silent Valley, keystone species of Silent Valley National Park. It's the lion-tailed macaque, Simhavalan kurangu, and Bengal monitor lizard, Oriental garden lizard, vine snakes, and some birds also predating on the bird eggs. So these are all some potential predator of my study species. So that I just mentioned this birds as another phase of their life, especially during their breeding period. They are getting predated from this animals. And from this things, I'm just concluding that all the bird calls, the trek paths, the leech bites, all the things that I felt during my last 10 years of field work. And I think all this hardships all go after realizing that these are all some precious moments for me to identify the birds, to identify the related things, not just the birds. And as Jamila ma'am said, dragonflies are there, damselflies are there, amphibians are there, reptiles are there, many more than 2000 floral elements are there. All are interconnected. All are interconnected in one way or another way, and all are persisting there only because of this closed chain network. So I wish to say that first we need to understand the nature, then only we can conserve the nature. So I believe that this short lecture or this short presentation will help to impress you with this birds, and through the birds we can go for another step to the conservation of biodiversity and all. And I think that this is I'm concluding with this birds. I'm touching only almost 80 to 90 species of birds in this presentation. We have another 120 species left behind. So due to this constraint of Jamila ma'am said to me that only 30 to 40 minutes for the presentation. So I know I'm rushed in this presentation and all. So I hope this time we can go for a small interaction after this. And ma'am, please.
So thank you, Divin. You really took us on a journey into the Silent Valley, and we really enjoyed God's plenty, the variety of birds, and I must say the passion with which you talked about those birds show how much of a bird lover or a nature lover you are. And I'm sure all of us who are presented here need to give you a big clap for the excellent presentation. So now the floor is open for questions. Before that, if there are any questions in the chat box, let me very quickly look at it. Someone has asked, leeches, are there more in the monsoons or in all seasons?
Yeah, actually they are very high during the monsoon, and in the summer season it's another thing, ticks. The tick bite is much more harmful than the leech bite. Ticks are very...
That was Bhuneshwari's question. So in spite of all those leeches and the leech bites.
Yeah, that leech bite will come up to this next side also.
Oh.
That much. They are actually protectors of forest. Nobody will easily enter into the forest because of they are
Yes.
the soldiers
They
of
guard, they
yeah,
guard,
they
yes.
are the soldiers of forest.
Sometimes that's a deterrent also, you know. We are all afraid of that. And
No, actually, when we went, the guide bring salt with us.
salt,
yeah.
yeah, we do that. And Vicks also on the shoe and all, you know, we
Mhm, yeah.
can.
And we have lead socks for protecting from this lead socks. Lead
Okay.
socks.
Oh,
It's a kind of
Yeah, there are lots of compliments for you from Smita Pali. She says, beautiful exotic birds. Chitra says, thank you for introducing me to some very interesting birds with unique names. Whistling Boy, Chitrangada, Potti, Omena Prava. I thoroughly enjoyed your talk, Divin, and your imitation of their call, superb. And Bodhishri says, very interesting talk, the beautiful sharp pictures and the vocals. Music, I should say, of different birds really took us right to the midst of the valley. Of the owl, the Mala Muraki, the Vera, cycle birds. So we learned a lot of names from you. Thank you very much.
The next thing is to the field. So I'm inviting all you for a field trip, and we'll go and see the birds and we'll study the birds. It's actually kind of
We should take up that invitation sometime later, I think.
Sure.
And then Guneshri also says, on a lighter note, I was here waiting to hear the sound of the Maruti 800 starting sound of the Nilgiri pigeon.
So that's my invention to identify that bird. It's like that's in that way they used to make that sound. So it's almost like Maruti 800 starting sound.
Indrani Sengupta says, most mesmerizing program with rare pictures and passionate narration. We feel we are there in the silent valley. Thank you for the rare experience. And Kalyani Raj says, thank you for introducing us to a beautiful, different worlds. And very interesting. And Parit Baba Khan says, very interesting presentation. Guneshri was the first question that they asked. Now that's all in the chat box. If there is any questions from the floor, please go ahead.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
That was an interesting presentation by a passionate lover of birds. We could understand that you're so passionate about the birds. And you're so thorough about it. I'm so happy that we have a young man who's so much interested in the bird. So let me first wish you all the best in your future.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. And actually, when I went there, my sister likes to pluck all these guavas and all. When she went to pluck it, the guide said, no, ma'am, you should not pluck the guava. It is for the birds.
Birds, yeah.
So it was so nice to hear that. And so you took us literally to the valley there, you know. Beautiful birds, and really we didn't know the time passing by. Beautiful presentation. I wish we could all come there as invited by you and look into, but we couldn't look into it, the birds closely, because we didn't have binoculars. So we just
we'll go for a field work, and
we'll made an offer.
Yeah. And Trivandrum is a good place to start that. No? We have very interesting vegetation here nearby.
Really?
So we'll go for a field work, and we'll go to that nearby wetlands and all.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Divin. It was very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr.
Murukesh, Babita Khan wants to ask something.
Yeah. Dr. Murukesh, good evening.
Good evening.
You have made an excellent presentation, because I had been to these places more than 5 times. Because I had been related to arts projects.
Okay.
Officially. Very interesting. It was refreshing my memory, your presentation. Very interesting, and we want more, because nobody can identify these birds here. Actually, it is a very excellent presentation and very interesting. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Already started looking at some resorts over there. And I don't know, anything you would like to recommend?
Yeah, actually, Forest Department also have a hideouts there. You can
Okay.
plan for a tour, like 2-3 days. Packages are there. In the government website, Silent Valley National Park website, you can see that Kiripara trek is there. Very interesting one. So only after this fire season, after April, you can go for monsoon. Also, I recommend you to go to Silent Valley. It's full of rain and kind of different lush green mood. No?
Snails also, full of snails also.
Full of leeches also.
That's another experience. No? The leech will suck only the bad blood. So go for that.
Actually, KTDC hotel is good.
Yeah, that's also good.
They arrange cars for us. They arrange it.
Actually, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. Amazing. Amazing program. I'm Kalpana.
Kalpana, yes.
Yes, amazing program. Here also the bird sector. We also, but I have not seen bird lover too much. Really, it is very, very interesting and amazing program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kalpana has joined us from Calcutta.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kalpana.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to ask something? Or I'm sure you have been so descriptive and so
something in the chat box.
and
One more.
all those pictures, you really took our breath away. I can still see all the birds in my mind's eye, each line moving, and so many different beautiful birds. And most of them, I understand the pictures that you took and your own experience in the valley.
Jamila ji, there is something in the chat box from Sheila. Organize a trip.
Okay.
Sheila's asking, organize the trip. Will you do that?
Plan that.
Actually, Divin has led school groups and college groups into the Silent Valley, and he has in fact guided them around. So maybe we could also think about such a guided tour with
We'll plan that, ma'am.
Yes, literary and cultural forum, we can arrange a tour, a small group, and he can be our guide. It can be really interesting if we can do that.
May I ask something else more?
Usha ma'am, we can hear that coil sound, that Asian coil call from her background, Usha ma'am.
Divin, can I ask you something?
Yeah, please.
Are there any tribal communities living in the forest?
No, not within the core region. Only in the Attapadi and buffer regions of Silent Valley, we have tribal settlements. Many tribal settlements are there. Not within the core region. Core region is entirely unique.
Okay.
Protection,
But,
highly protected area.
Even if it is protected, do they allow visitors into this protected area?
Only up to that Siren 3. We have a plan for the Silent Valley National Park itself. There is a 1 day trek. Like it's just a trek, means up to the Kunti River you can walk and take back in the same trek, and you can it's a kind of evergreen forest patch, and you can go to the top of that watchtower, and you can see the whole entire landscape from that watchtower and all. That's a nice trek. 21-kilometer jeep drive. After that you will reach the core region, Siren 3, and from there up to that Kunti River you can make a walk. Nice.
What is the distance from there?
From this only 2 kilometers. Just one down, 1 kilometer on one side, 2 kilometers total.
Are there any wild cats there? Dangerous animals?
No, they're not dangerous. They are like tigers are there, leopards are there. I have many photographs, videographs, and I have a movie there, and I'll show you later. No, that things and all. I'll share with Jamila ma'am and all. Okay.
This time we thought we would concentrate on the birds and not the wild animals.
Are there elephants?
Yeah, elephants are there. Elephants are there.
There are string of elephants because there is water, no? The Kutipura and its tributaries. There are lots of elephants that go in groups. Anywhere you find the elephants and all the monkeys.
Yeah. And very rare Nilgiri martin is there. It's Maranaya, Nilgiri martin. It's very confined to endemic to this Western Ghats and all. And some rare the giant flying squirrels are there. They are crepuscular and that way. Rare mammals also there.
Can you tell us about the damselflies?
Okay.
Very curious.
Okay. Dragonflies and damselflies all together we can call odonates, no? That odonate species. And dragonflies, you can say that's a very mightiest category of that odonates. They are very huge and they are good predators. And while sitting, the simple identification key is that while sitting, they spread their wings. Damselflies are very feeble, very thin, and Kolutumbi in Malayalam, they will call them Kolutumbi because it's like very thin strip and very feeble one. And while sitting, they're folding their wings like this, not spread. That is the major difference between damselflies and dragonflies. And damselflies and dragonflies both are their larval stage in water. They lay their eggs in water, and after that they pupate to the rock or any other substratum near to the water. From there, from the exuvia, they will come out like dragonflies. So egg, nymph, and the adult dragonfly. They are long migrants too.
നമ്മുടെ തുമ്പിയാണോ?
അതെ, തുമ്പിയാണ്.
Damselflies എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ തുമ്പി.
ട്രൂ തുമ്പി തന്നെയാണ്. നമ്മൾ കോലുതുമ്പി, ഓണത്തുമ്പി എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ അടുത്ത് വരുന്നതൊക്കെ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ ഡാംസൽ ഫ്ലൈസ്.
ഈ ഡ്രാഗൺ ഫ്ലൈസ് ഒന്നും ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വരാറില്ല.
ഉണ്ട് ഡ്രാഗൺ ഫ്ലൈസും നമ്മുടെ സെയിം നമ്മുടെ വലിയ തുമ്പികളില്ലേ മാം, ബിഗ് സൈസ് സ്റ്റൗട്ട് ബിഗ് തിങ്സ് ആർ ഡ്രാഗൺ ഫ്ലൈസ്. ഓൾ ആസ് നമ്മൾക്ക് ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട്, രണ്ടും നമുക്ക് കോമൺ ആണ്. ഡാംസൽ ഫ്ലൈസ് വളരെ ഫീബിൾ ആൻഡ് തിൻ ആണ്.
That is why it is called damsel. Delicate.
Yeah, delicate. Yeah.
അതിനെ മെയിലും ഫീമെയിൽ സ്പീഷീസ് എന്ന് പറയുമോ?
അതിനെ മെയിലും അങ്ങനെ പറയില്ല. ഡ്രാഗൺ അതെ, അതിന്റെ മലയാളം പറയണ ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ഇറ്റ്സ് അനൈസോപ്റ്റീറ ആൻഡ് സൈഗോപ്റ്റീറ. Anisoptera means both the wings are different for dragonflies. Zygoptera, tera means wings. Zygoptera, the wings are similar. So that is Anisoptera and Zygoptera of odonates. The two categories and from the same lineage.
Very interesting.
That's interesting. Yes. Very interesting.
One day we can talk about odonates. They're very fascinating species and interesting life history for them. So I studied that dragonflies and damselflies during my post-graduation period. So I recorded 50 to 100 species from my land itself.
So we'll be coming back to you again for our one of our programs.
Sure.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful experience.
Through a path, isn't it? Did you deviate from the path to take the photograph of all these birds?
Sorry, ma'am?
See, we were taken through a path in the jeep.
Yeah. You'll find some.
Deviate from the path into the forest?
We need to deviate into the forest. Then only you can find the birds, no? But for the tourists, they are not allowed to go inside. But for the packages like Kiripara that I told, they will take into the forest and for small treks and streamside, brookside and all.
Did you have a guide?
Yeah, we'll follow with a tracker. You can call them tracker. They know.
Get lost, you know. So
yeah, sure. I too lost during my field trip for 2-3 days within the forest in the night. And from Trivandrum itself, forest officials came to look for me. that thing happened. that during my field work.
Okay. So they found you and brought you back.
You must note down, okay? You must note down all these.
Yeah.
Usha, if there are no more questions, shall we go?
Questions illengi ma'am namukku karanjan office-lana office ipada adakkan vendi ingane wait
just going to the last part of it, the official vote of thanks, Usha.
That was a fantastic presentation, Divin. You took us on a virtual trip of the Silent Valley, and we are all very eager to go there now. Those of us like Jamila and me, we have not visited. We would really love to go there and take you as a guide. And thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. As Kamini said, we didn't even realize how time flew. And we wish that it would have gone on, but then your office also has to close. Thank you so much. And I thank all the others who have joined, AWC members and others. And we'll be continuing with this series with another interesting talk on the first Friday of May. And I am reminded of another friend, Dr. Kalesh. He is a plastic surgeon, but his passion is chasing butterflies and ants. And he has published a number of papers on very, very serious studies on butterflies and ants. And maybe we can have him also as a resource person in one of these talks. So it would be very interesting. And Divin, I hope you will stay connected with All India Women's Conference. It is an All India organization with more than 700 branches and 1 lakh members, voluntary workers. And we would like to work with you where we can go and do awareness programs in schools and colleges and among women's groups and others. So please do stay connected with us. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jamila, as usual, for holding this. You're continuing it without any break. And thank you, friends, for joining. Thank you, Bhuneshwari, especially for helping me host this. So with that, we come to the end of this. I thank all the friends who have joined from far away and nearby, from all over the country. People have joined. I thank all of you. Namaskar.
So thank you, Divin, and thank you.
Again, I'm thanking you all for giving such a great
opportunity. So we will meet again.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.